Hello and welcome back to Leader Feeder. I'm Suzanne Jakes, the marketing coordinator for Unique Training and Development, and I'm sitting down with Kirk. Hi, Kirk.
Hello, Suze. How are you?
I'm great today, thank
Good.
you. Today on Leader Feeder, as usual, we are here to share tips and practical strategies for frontline leaders in manufacturing, help them get better, upskill,
their
I
skills,
suppose.
yes.
Up
Yeah,
their
that's
skills. So today I kind of wanted to talk about this idea of, without sounding too infomercially, I suppose, like, do you feel caught in the middle between your frontline and your
between
manager?
your team and management?
But there is a very real thing about, learning how to be an ambassador, right?
Yeah.
So you're the frontline leader and you have to convey messages
To your team,
but
also to management.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
So I want to maybe share some tips with frontline leaders today about how they can be
How they can do
get
that, right?
better. Yeah, I was going to say like how they can do that, how they can get better at that. So what is something you could share, a strategy for them?
Well, my strategy would be one that's got 3 steps to it. Listen, filter, communicate. So basically, I would say the first one is listen. Listen. So I guess we could take a step back here. And, when you're a frontline leader, you're going to get communications from your managers and management kind of coming down the line.
Yes.
And you've got to take that message and communicate it to your team in the best way you can, trying to make them kind of understand the message and accept it as much as possible.
Usually maybe things like production needs to be faster, or like what kind of messages would be coming from the top?
It could be about KPIs. It could be, we're not reaching our KPIs. We got to tighten things up a little bit, work a little harder. It could be policy changes, system changes, things like that.
I didn't think of
a
that.
line is changing.
Absolutely.
We're opening up a new line, something like that. So a lot of stuff that could come about KPIs that are or aren't being met, about policies, procedures, and systems that are changing. And then you're playing ambassador that way from management to your team, but also from your team up to management, up the chain, right? So you're getting information, insights, news, suggestions from your team and feedback that you need to push up the chain. So you are this middleman or this middle person because you're trying to kind of make sure that the message gets conveyed effectively in both directions.
Right.
Yeah. So going back to the steps I have, I would say it's listen, filter, and communicate. That's kind of what we talk about in our training a bit. So the first part is listen. Listen to the message in its original form. So, management sends you some kind of communication
Memo.
about something that's changing. Maybe it's an email, or maybe it's a meeting with all of the supervisors where they're telling you, hey, this is how things are going to change. Right. Listen to the message in its original form, however it comes down. Then the next part you have to do, step 2, is filter. So step 1 is listen. Step 2 is filter. And the filtering is kind of deciding what are the key takeaways that need to be communicated while maintaining respect, professionalism, and a constructive approach that values resolving an issue, if there is an issue, rather than exacerbating the issue, rather than making it worse.
Because messages from either direction might not always be nice. Is that what you're meaning?
They might not always be conveyed in the best way they should. It should be, you got to get those numbers up. It's up to you guys. Come on, we got to make this happen. This is ridiculous. It's taking this long. And you probably know that if you just go back to your team and berate them in the same way that you might have been sort of berated, which is, I guess, already a bit of a problem, but you're going to get them being like, we're trying our best. Come on. Like, what are those guys up the chain doing? Like, no one's helping us, right? So instead, you're thinking, okay, well, what's the key takeaway? The key takeaway is that we need to speed things up. There's a little bit of frustration that we aren't meeting our targets. So what can I do? And if we go back to like maintaining respect, professionalism, and a constructive approach that focuses on what the key takeaway is. Okay, guys, hey, I know we're working really hard lately, but we're being asked to just get a little bit more accomplished in a day or to increase our quota by a little bit. I wanted to ask your thoughts on how we can achieve that. How can we meet? We're at this number right now. How can we get to this number? Right. So there's a collaborative aspect to it. You're hoping to maybe empower the team. So you're turning a problem into not just a solution, but even an opportunity for the team to do better and to grow.
Yes.
So that's an example of taking a message that could have been conveyed in a negative way and communicating it in a better way, right? So you've listened to the message, you've filtered out, okay, what's the key takeaway that I want to communicate? And that key takeaway isn't always just information. It could also be an emotion. If you do your best to convey that message to your team and what you get back is like, oh my God, they're always demanding so much from us, or they're always expecting so much from us, then when you send that message back up the chain to leadership, then the way you're conveying it isn't, oh, the guys are so pissed at you, my team just can't stand you guys anymore. If you ask any more questions, everyone's going to walk. It might just be, there's a lot of frustration. People feel like they're working really hard already, and they're just not sure how they're going to make even tighter demands work. Right? That's a way more professional and kind of constructive way to say, hey, there's frustration, rather than, oh, those guys are pissed. You got to figure this out. So I've kind of given away the third step, but you listen first, you then filter out, or you think about how you're going to filter the message so that you are conveying a respectful, professional, and constructive message, and then you communicate that message. So, pass along the filtered information in a way that effectively communicates the key takeaway. So, I gave you a couple of examples there, but essentially you're thinking about, okay, if I just deliver the message word for word, what's going to be the reaction to the people receiving that message?
Probably
Are they
pretty
going to
negative.
freak out? Are they going to be upset? Are they going to be annoyed? Sometimes no. Sometimes you can kind of convey the message in a sort of word for word type. Hey, this is what they're saying. There's a new process that's going to start next week. It's going to take place on line 3 during its shutdown, and they want you to be aware, and they want you to just make sure you take extra precaution in that area, because there's going to be a lot of equipment in that area that we're not used to having. So please just be cautious, be safe, right? Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Other times, it will be something that will upset people. It will be something that will frustrate people. And in that case, you really want to think about, okay, then how do I communicate it in a way that is helpful, constructive, respectful, and doesn't create more of a division or a bigger problem than maybe existed already? So I don't want to exacerbate issues. I want to resolve issues with my communication. And that can be frustrating, especially if a message coming down from management isn't maybe as polished as it should be, and you have to filter it a bit. That can be kind of like, oh, now I'm doing that. But why it's important that you are able to do it is that you know your team.
Yes.
You know what your team responds to. You know what motivates your team. You know what things they're going to listen to and go, yeah, of course. Or what things they're going to listen to and go, oh my gosh, this again.
Yes.
So it's you knowing your team that makes you the best ambassador to the team. And then you listening to your team and knowing how management kind of thinks and functions and what they listen to, knowing that makes you a good ambassador the other direction, to know, how do I take the feedback, suggestions, ideas from my team, and how do I put that back up the chain in an effective way?
Yeah, and overall, that's going to help everyone essentially, right? I mean, and over time, I imagine you're hoping that as a leader, maybe messages in general will be better put if they're met with the feedback of respectful. Maybe they would start being like, oh, like you're right, like that shouldn't have had to have happened that way, or you're right, we didn't have to say it that way. We know they're working really hard, or it's nice that they acknowledge that we're working really hard. We're going to try to put in that extra effort or something.
It's easy to get in the dirty bathwater and kind of, management and their infinite wisdom has passed down another thing we've got to follow. But that doesn't help anybody. No. And at the end of the day, as the leader, first of all, you should be leading by example, right? You want to lead by example. You want to help people get their job done, do it successfully, remove barriers and obstacles. So you getting into the dirty bathwater and complaining and everything isn't going to help the problem, generally speaking.
On either side right?
Well, that's the thing, on either side.
Because I remember being a executive sous chef and chatting with my chef about like, oh yeah, they're just not getting this done, and oh, I just need them to do this. And then I also remember chatting with my team about being like, oh my gosh, chef is just like really just coming down hard and stuff like that. And I tried to play both sides, and I know for a fact it doesn't work.
No,
it's
you
not
look two-faced.
fun.
It's hypocritical.
You're two-faced. It's hypocritical, but you want everyone to like you, right? So you start over filtering or under filtering, and like you said, if you can just take the messages and just convey them in a respectful way, it's just better for everybody.
Right. Yeah. And again, as the leader, you should be setting an example so that if you have someone on your team that will eventually be a leader themselves, they should be watching your example and going, oh, this is how you effectively communicate in these situations, rather than you want to be an example to follow rather than an example to avoid, right?
Yes.
You don't want to be the bad example. You want to be the one that goes, yeah, well, I learned how to communicate effectively because I watched this person rather than I watched what they did and just told myself, do everything they don't do.
Then again, if you're coaching someone who's coming into your spot, they might be surprised to step in there and be like, oh, these are the messages that you are receiving.
Right. Yeah. You're doing such a good job of conveying that. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great.
So there you have it. So that's filtering. That's how to be, I would say, 3 simple steps to being that ambassador. You want to listen, you want to filter, you want to communicate. And, this is something that we talk about, of course, in our expectations of a frontline leader module in our training program.
Yes.
If you're interested in this, if you're listening going, my teams could use a bit more of that and lots more on communication and, solving problems and managing conflict and all sorts of wonderful leadership skills that we cover. hey, drop us a line, head to uniquedevelopment.com or go to hello@uniquedevelopment.com. We'd love to hear from you. We love to help organizations. We sort of joke, but we mean it, that we would love it if nobody ever had to work for a bad boss in manufacturing. So we're trying to achieve that by working with as many leaders as we can. So we'd love to hear from you and have a conversation.
Yeah, thank you for tuning into the episode today. I hope everyone has a great day and happy leading.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.